Land's End Trial is an annual 330-mile navigational competition held at Easter in the West Country. Competitors attempt to successfully clean 16 challenging hill climbs and observed tests set by the oldest motoring club in the world, the Motorcycling Club.
ACU licence and that's it. Thank you very much.
Is Paul habitually late?
Apparently he is well known for it. I mentioned to someone that he was our guest rider and they said, ha, he'll never be there on time.
Is Blez known for his timekeeping?
As far as I'm aware, no.
Have you ever witnessed Blez late to an event? Is that part of his character, would you say?
Yes, it is, yeah. I'm slightly behind schedule.
Having started on time, Blez, Andrew and I began the long ride west towards Cornwall. We followed the setting sun through Stockbridge, Salisbury, Warminster, Frome, Shepton Mallet, Glastonbury and Bridgewater, where competitors enjoyed hot food and drink at the rugby club. How are you finding the Royal Enfield Himalayan right now?
I'm enjoying it, actually. I'm really enjoying it. It's very civilised. It's fairly smooth, especially cruises down the motorway at 70, smooth as anything. Handles really well, brakes work.
How did you get on with that then, Blez?
Rubbish. I was in 2 minds. I wasn't sure which. I'm confused about what class I'm in, and now I've decided. I'm in no doubt anymore what class I'm in because I tried to do a stop and restart, and with these tyres, it was well nigh impossible. I'm not looking forward to Crackington on this now after that because I know that's going to be doctored.
Okay, Paul, you've made it up Beggars Roost. How did you find the section?
That was a lot better than the first one. I managed to just go. I got slightly out of shape going into a bit of a ditch bit, but there was nothing to worry about. Just straightforward bit of trail riding, really. So I enjoyed that one a lot more than the first one.
Did you make use of the preferential start?
I did, because I've decided I'm on road tyres and I definitely deserve a preferential start.
We've just finished Riverton, has a nice restart which you seem to make light work of. How did you find that?
I was delighted with that one because I vaguely remember it from 20 years ago, and it's a long one and it's quite loose, so I was taking it really gently and I managed to do the restart properly, and I was right on the limit when I came past you with just keeping balance and traction and everything, and then I managed to keep it going, so I'm really chuffed about Riverton.
That was quite slippery, wasn't it?
Well, it was the restart was the bugger. I mean, I was very careful through the ford, and then it was stonier than I expected, and then there were some people walking down on the right hand side, so I went to the left, and it turns out that was the worst possible side to attempt the restart.
I watched 3 or 4 people fail that restart. Do you think that you took the right line on it, or should you've strayed to the centre?
Well, I see. I don't. It's over 20 years since I was last here, so I probably wasn't on the ideal side. I probably would have been better on the right-hand side.
This family here have stayed open at 3 o'clock in the morning to serve bacon rolls, cake and hot tea. What do you have to say about that?
I think it's great. It's one of the great traditions of the Land's End, and I like the fact that it actually says in the instructions, please patronise, because you should patronise. People are prepared to stay up all night for our benefit.
You cleared Hackmarsh, didn't you?
I did. It was very satisfying. It was a real challenge because I started a bit slow and I realised it's so loose, you've got to get some momentum going, and there's big sort of loose boulders everywhere, and as I came past you I just had to give myself an extra bit of
I did hear a primal caveman scream from behind me.
That's pretty much what it was.
And that got you to the top of the section, did it?
Got me to the top clean, yeah, so I'm very pleased about that.
How did you find Darracott, Blez? Did you make light work of that, or was it tricky?
It's one of my favourite sections. I remember it well from the Transalp, and I remember cleaning it on the Transalp because I didn't have to do a restart, and I would have cleaned it on the Enfield if I hadn't had to do a restart, and I would even have succeeded with the restart if I could paddle properly.
It's quite a twisty section. How did the Royal Enfield take the hairpins coming up the hill?
No, it's great. It's absolutely great. You know, the engine is perfect for that sort of, you know, it's got such soft power. You can feed it in really gently, and even with those tyres, you can find some grip, so long as you're not trying to start up something that's really steep or slippery.
Some good skills so far, stay on it. I hear you had to turn back at Crackington. What happened?
Crackington was a disaster. It seemed to be a lot slipperier and muddier down the bottom from what I remember 20 years ago, and I set off all right, and I was poodling up in second okay, and then the tyre just went sideways on a slippery rock, and I was off to the bank, and then I tried to get going again, and it slid round, and thank God the marshals were there to pick it up for me, because of my dodgy shoulder that would have killed me. And with these tyres, they said you haven't even got anywhere near the worst of it yet, you'd be better off going back down, so I thought discretion was the better part of valour. We're here now, we've had some breakfast, so ready to go again.
We've just finished Warlagging, and I've followed you up the hill, and I gave you all the encouragement I could, and then when my back was turned on you, all I heard was this almighty cry of what happened?
I'm very cross with myself because I thought I should have cleaned that. And I just wasn't going quite fast. I needed about 1 mile an hour more, and I just ran out of momentum. I'm just cross. I should have just opened the throttle a fraction more, gone a little bit faster, because it just got so lumpy and bumpy. I just ground to a halt, and I sort of did my own impromptu start and restart.
I did think that you were just a bit too slow coming into the restart, but you certainly had the finesse to dance it up there if you were just going a bit quicker.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's so annoying. And that fella on the Yamaha there, he's managed to clean it. It's only the second one he's cleaned all day, and I've cleaned about 4 maybe, I don't know. I've cleaned at least 4, but not that one.
He's enjoying himself, I think.
Wow.
Making the most of the course. Let's see if he's read the book. Just about.
I thought I'd make it a bit more interesting.
You whizzed up Laneskin then. What have you got to say about your performance?
Well, I wouldn't say I whizzed up. I would say it was slow and steady, but with this time just enough momentum to keep it going, even though it was a bit damp and the tyres were spinning here and there, but I just managed to pick a good enough line to get just enough grip to keep it going. And then at the end there's a sharp right, and oh my God, how much more? And then it's section ends, what relief.
What do you think about the other school of thought in making it up that section, and that's holding the throttle wide open and hoping for the best?
Well, that's fine if you've got a bit more grip in your tyres, and the thing is, if you do that, that's fine until it all goes pear-shaped and it spins sideways very fast and high-sides you off.
That's Hoskin Hill done, Paul. How did you get on?
Hoskin Hill was a moral clean, if not necessarily marked as such, because another bloody restart. I know it's for all classes, and it wasn't, as restarts go, it wasn't that difficult, but with those tyres it was tricky. Once I had to do a bit of paddling, I went sideways, but I managed to keep my momentum going kept the motion going, and once I was feet up again, I was clean all the way to the top.
Have you been on the dune bar since we've been in Cornwall?
I have not. I have dodgy legs, dodgy ankles, dodgy knees, and I'll give you a full list of all my excuses when we get to the finish.
Look out for that in part 2.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
That was a big old slab of rock there on Bishop's Wood, wasn't it, Paul? How
Yeah,
did you find that?
Well, the slab of rock was fine. It was just it's the restart before it that I was worried about. But I managed to get my front wheel about as far as you can go and still be within the regs. And I managed to get enough grip for once to get going again without having to dab too much.
You cleaned it, didn't you?
I think so. Really enjoyed the whole. It's like a lovely trail ride through the woods.
You look like you made light work of Blue Hills 1. How did it go for you?
It's a funny little section, that. I remember it from 20 years ago, but of course I didn't have to do a stop and restart last time. So while I was waiting for the cameraman, I went and had a look at it, and I thought, well, I might be able to get away with that. Watching the cars do it was interesting, actually, because I was impressed how they got up there. Anyway, I thought, well, I'll go over to the left there for the restart, and I just bimbled gently into it, and I managed to just about get enough adhesion to get up it and stop across the line as required.
A comfortable clean then?
Yeah.
You look like you were a bit slow to start with on Blue Hills 2, Paul. What happened?
Well, I didn't have the normal starting place because I had to wait for a car to go through, so I had less of a run up to the bottom of it through the gate, and it's really, really bumpy, as you will know, having ridden up it yourself. And the more I realised that, I thought, I've got to get some momentum going here, so I'm going to be bloody stopped at before I really get anywhere near the top. So I wound it on, and just in first gear, and I just wound it on, and I managed to bounce and keep bouncing top. And then I had to stop. There's a thing that says stop here and wait, so I stopped. And in my mind, I was thinking that was the restart, because it was bloody difficult just to get going again, because you had to wait for the flag that the car had gone through or something. And there's this great big rock slab. I thought, oh Christ, I'm never going to get the bloody thing going. And then I saw the bloody restart. I thought, well, there's no way that I'm going to even attempt that. I'm just going through now, because if I stop again, there's no way I'll get through that. And I shouldn't have to stop for it anyway with these tyres. So it was another moral clean in my mind.